The champagne flute shattered against the marble floor, a jagged scream of glass that silenced the murmurs of our vow renewal guests. My wife's words hung in the air, sharp as the shards at my feet. You were my backup plan, Daniel. I should have married him. Her eyes, wide with panic, betrayed the truth she hadn't meant to spill. The room spun, crystal chandeliers blurring into streaks of light, the scent of lilies choking me. 20 years of marriage, and I was her consolation prize. I stood frozen, my tailored suit suddenly too tight, the weight of her confession crushing my chest. The guests, friends, family, colleagues stared, their whispers a low hum like distant thunder. My heart pounded, each beat a question. Who is he? Her ex, Mark, flickered in my mind, a ghost from her past I'd buried under years of trust. I forced a smile, the kind that hides a scream, and raised my glass. To love, I said, my voice steady despite the tremor in my soul. The crowd clapped, hesitant, oblivious to the fault line splitting my world. At home, the silence was louder than the party. Our Victorian house, with its creaking oak floors and stained glass windows, felt like a stage for a play gone wrong. Claire sat on the velvet sofa, her auburn hair catching the lamplight, her hands twisting the hem of her ivory dress. I didn't mean it, she whispered, her voice brittle. It was a stupid thing to say. Then why say it? My words were calm, but my pulse roared. I wanted to believe her, to chalk it up to too much wine, but her eyes darted to the floor, avoiding mine. I'd seen that look before, when she'd forgotten our anniversary, when she'd stayed late at work for months, when her phone buzzed at 2 a.m., and she'd silenced it without checking. I don't know, she said, her voice cracking. I was nervous, okay? The vows, the crowd, it brought up old feelings. Mark and I, we were young. It's nothing. Nothing. The word echoed hollow. I poured a whiskey, the amber liquid burning my throat as I replayed her slip. Mark, her college sweetheart, the one she'd sworn was ancient history. I'd met him once, at a reunion, tall, charismatic, with a laugh that filled the room. I'd felt small then, but Claire had squeezed my hand, her smile reassuring. Now that memory felt like a lie. The next morning, I woke to the scent of coffee and Claire's forced cheerfulness. Let's forget last night, she said, sliding a mug toward me. Her smile was too bright, her movements jerky, like a marionette on fraying strings. I nodded, but suspicion coiled in my gut. I started noticing things. Her phone always face down now. Her late nights at the gallery, where she curated art. The way she flinched when I touched her unexpectedly. Days bled into weeks, each one a slow drip of doubt. I became a detective in my own marriage, hating myself for it. I checked her phone one night while she showered, the steam curling from the bathroom like a warning. A text from an unknown number. Miss you. Can we meet? My thumb hovered over the screen, torn between confronting her and pretending I hadn't seen it. I chose silence, but the seed was planted. The gallery became my obsession. I drove by one evening, the city's neon lights reflecting off the rain-slicked streets. Through the glass storefront, I saw Claire laughing with a man, Mark. His hand grazed her arm, lingering too long. My breath caught, the car's heater suffocating. I didn't storm in. I drove home, the image seared into my mind, her laughter a blade twisting in my chest. I started digging deeper, guilt warring with anger. Her laptop, left open one night, revealed emails, intimate, coded, but undeniable. Meet me at the loft, one read. I can't stop thinking about you. My hands shook as I scrolled, each word a betrayal, each date a memory of her lying beside me, pretending. The loft, our old apartment, the one we'd kept as a rental property. She'd been meeting him there, in the space where we'd built our life. I could have confronted her then, but I needed proof, something tangible to shatter her lies. I installed a camera in the loft, a small, discreet device hidden in a bookshelf. The act felt like a betrayal of my own morals, but I was past caring. Days later, I watched the footage, my heart a drumbeat of dread. There they were, Claire and Mark, their bodies entwined on the couch we'd bought together. Her laughter, the same one I'd fallen in love with, now mocked me through the grainy video. The rage was blinding, but beneath it, grief churned. I loved her even now. I remembered our first date, her shy smile over candlelight, the night she cried in my arms after a miscarriage, The way she'd dance in the kitchen, barefoot, to jazz records. How could that woman be this one? I planned my revenge with surgical precision. Not violence. Never that, but a reckoning. I invited Mark to dinner, claiming it was a friendly gesture, a chance to catch up. Claire's face paled when I told her, but she agreed, her voice tight. The dining room was set like a stage. Candles flickering, the air thick with rosemary from the roast. Mark arrived, all charm and confidence, oblivious to the storm brewing. The conversation started light, but I steered it, my words a scalpel. Claire mentioned you two were close once, I said, watching her choke on her wine. Mark's smile faltered, his eyes flicking to her. I leaned forward, my voice low. She said you were her first choice. Funny, isn't it? How plans change. The room stilled. Claire's fork clattered against her plate. Mark stammered, his facade cracking. That's not how I remember it, he said, but his voice lacked conviction. I pressed play on my phone, the audio from the loft filling the room. Her gasps, his whispers. Claire's face crumpled, tears spilling as she realized the trap. Why? I asked, my voice breaking despite my resolve. Why wasn't I enough? She sobbed, words tumbling out, excuses, apologies, confessions. Mark had been a fantasy, a way to escape the monotony of our life. She swore she loved me, that it was a mistake. Mark sat silent, a coward unmasked. I didn't yell. I didn't need to. The truth was punishment enough. I'm done, I said, standing. You can have your ex, but you'll never have me again. I walked out, the night air cold against my skin, the stars indifferent above. The house, the vows, the life we'd built. It was all ash now. But as I drove away, a strange relief settled in. I'd faced the truth, and in its wreckage, I found something unbroken, myself.